Superboy number 5, written by Scott Lobdell, art by R.B. Silva. We left off last issue with Superboy taking out two teenagers that are all messed up and then deciding to work with Nowhere and Center Hall, who just showed up. This issue picks up. He's back in the Nowhere training facility. He's just working out, picking up, I think they say 3 tons over his head, because it's what you do. We get the laydown that after Dr. Fairchild, I believe her name was, the one that Superboy called Red, she is being tried on like terrorism charges, and the dude from like issue 2 who was trying to leak secrets to Lois Lane is now in her place as like the lead scientist, and his name is Dr. Umber. So whatever. So Superboy leaves for the day. Umber gives Superboy a hug before he leaves, which was super weird. But then all the lights go out and Mr. Templar shows up, and he's like, "Hey, Umber, look, so you know how Red kind of let us down? I really don't want you to let us down. Let me show you why." And then he like lets loose these powers that look like demonic dogs emerging from his, like the shadows inside his trench coat. And when he stops, everyone around is dead except for Umber. And he's like, "Cool, so we have an understanding?" And he's like, yeah, we're good. So Umber leaves. Superboy meets up with Rose Wilson again briefly, and he's all still pissed about what Red did to him. And Rose is like, she still fought for you. Like, you're being a selfish little brat here. Like, everyone else just wanted to kill you. She's the only reason you're alive. But, yeah, then we see what's happening to Caitlin Fairchild, aka Red. She's being hauled on this truck to a separate facility by Center Hall, and then this big dude named Battis. I'm not going to care about him, but they're just like, "Oh, why did she team up with the enemy when Nowhere is making a better world for metahumans like her?" And Center Hall's like, "I don't know, bad writing." So they drive away, and as they are crossing, I'm skipping one page here, as they are crossing the desert, Center Hall's like chest starts leaking. Apparently he's made of energy, and this was all a containment suit, I guess. And then he's like, "Oh no, what's going on? Why am I leaking energy?" And then out on the road is clearly Superboy wearing a cloak, but they don't recognize it as Superboy. He flips the truck, he gets Dr. Fairchild out, makes sure nobody dies. We see that he's like leaking, still spewing out energy, and he's like, "Oh, please, whoever you are, stop it, you're going to kill me." And Superboy's like, "If that was my intention, you would already be dead." And so he takes he takes Fairchild to somebody. Somebody just shows up and says like, "Ah, you're right on time. As we agreed, I'll make sure she's safe." I don't know who it is. One page I skipped real quick is that Rose is having to toss Dr. Fairchild's room, see if there's anything that could lead them to the other people who are like her. And she finds what I can only describe as a USB drive, but it looks literally like just a screw. But she says that it's a jump drive. So Rose goes and she plugs it into a computer, and apparently it accesses some top secret files called Colony, and one of the subjects for this colony is Subject 8, Rose Wilson, codenamed Ravager, and it says activate on Culling Day. And Rose is like, "I don't know what a Ravager is, and I don't know what Culling Day is, so that's going to happen." So then we get back to the Nowhere facility, and Templar's running down the halls going to Superboy's room. He's like, "Superboy betrayed us. He's definitely the one who crashed the truck. It couldn't be anybody but him." But when they get inside, they see that Superboy is just asleep in his bed. And then he's like, "What's wrong, Mr. Templar?" And he's like, "I don't know how you did it, but I know you did it. And the day will come when you'll have to choose between Nowhere and your own whatever." And Superboy's like, "Nah, I'm going to keep doing my own whatever." And then we cut to some other place. It looks like the Kent farm, but it's just some random farm. And an elderly couple are taking care of those teenagers from the last issue. And they give them the names of Miss Adigan and Mr. Bryce. And they're like, "Oh, we'll take care of you until the day of the culling." And that's where we leave off. I don't I felt like we just did a complete like 90-degree turn after like 4 other 90 degrees turns. Like, what is this book do? The whole thing in the last issue was we're going after Wonder Girl. And I don't like to talk about other series, but in the last issue of Teen Titans, he went after Wonder Girl. So I really don't know what's going on. And spoiler alert, next issue, he's not going after Wonder Girl either, because it's Supergirl on the cover. So I don't know what's going on. Ugh, it's like, in terms of just keeping it to this book, it just feels like they're trying to do a thing of like, oh, whose allegiances lie where, but they're not properly describing even like what I'm supposed to be believing, let alone what's actually happening underneath. So I'm just walking around like, huh? What? Who? And that's not a fun read. So overall, I'm going to give this one 5. Like, there's nothing that's actually like terrible about it. And I did like the reveal that Templar has some powers, because that makes it something. But just give me something to latch onto at this point, man. I'm trying. I'm really trying, but there's just nothing to grab my attention here.